Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach, Jeff Copper. Um, Today, I'm here to talk about some invisible challenges for people with ADHD. Um, a lot of this has been bared out by my new ADHD intervention, a new field of engineering called cognitive ergonomics from the inside out. It's not coaching, it's not therapy, it's not behavioral therapy. It's just a program that uses Dr. Barkley's executive function model, something I've developed called AttentionScope, to make objective observations to solve problems. So, one of the things that people with ADHD struggle with is working memory, specifically capacity issues, the ability to hold information in your mind. Um, and one of the things that is kind of invisible out there, but a real problem is when you've got to toggle between screens or you have to scroll up and down. Think of it like this: is you might read something on a browser, maybe you're shopping for airline tickets, I don't know, and you see a price on one, and then you got another browser with another airline open. And on the one screen, you've got the price, the date, and the time, one stop, two stop. And the next screen you're going to, you got a different set of information. And you're holding the information from one, but by the time you get to the other one and start reading it, you're absorbing it, but you forget kind of what was on the other screen. And there's an emotional thing that's going on. Most people are not really aware of this, but when you've got to do a lot of toggling, it's cognitively difficult. And whenever things are thinking is really hard or problem solving is hard, there's an emotional urge to escape and shortcut it. So you'll rush to make a decision, or you'll just get frustrated and not do it. In these situations, I highly recommend printing. Um, that's that, that's that's some Kool-Aid that I drink. I print a lot. In fact, if I'm giving a presentation, I got 50 slides, I have to print them all out, put them on the floor to kind of storyboard it. Another way of thinking about toggling is, have you ever had to go to a website and maybe get an email with some really complicated password? If you imagine, if you can't cut and paste it and you're having to toggle back and forth, if you put yourself in that situation, I think that you might find yourself agitated, a bit frustrated, or you actually put off doing it. And my point really is there's a lot of cognitive effort with regard to this. So one of the challenges is is we're being droned into the over glamorization of technology, and there's like app, like we got apps everywhere. And I don't know about you, but I got so many apps on my phone, I don't even know what they are most of the time, and they're not named by something, which is difficult. But a lot of times when I'm toggling from one app to another app, or maybe I'm doing double authentication and then I got to go to my text to get the number, hold that in mind, and then go figure out how I go back to where I stick it in there, it's a bit of a challenge. And so by being aware that toggling is an issue, just like situationally, you can sit there, well, I need to write down the number when I'm toggling back and forth, or maybe I need to print it off, or maybe I need to use my tablet and my cell phone at the same time, or really a computer or whatever, or I need like three or four screens. By recognizing that and advocating, I think you can really find that if you do that, make your life a lot easier. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that um, that they don't print very much. And I referred them to an interview I did with Dr. Barkley in 2018 about working memory. In fact, if you Google Attention Talk Radio GPS, it'll come up, and how we talked for about 50 minutes, and we end up agreeing that paper is sometimes high tech for people with ADHD because it's easier on working memory. So I encourage you to take this to heart. A lot of people are resistant to printing. Also, by the way, if you've got a color printer, those things hardly ever work. I mean, a big black and white one is where you can hit and go is my recommendation. And maybe you don't need to print a lot, but when you need to print, it's like a tool. Like, why would you go mow the lawn with a pair of tweezers? Like, sometimes you have to have the right mower. Anyway, I hope this is giving you a challenge to think is that a lot of times the mere app that you're using because you have to toggle around is actually rendering the concept of the app useless. So, anyway, hope that's some food for thought and some insights that maybe you haven't really thought about. If you're new to our channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're an existing subscriber, can you relate to this? Does it make some sense? If you really observe it, I think you'd be surprised at how challenging it is. Also, we do what we do for you. We certainly like any contribution by hitting the thanks button. So with that, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.